Welcome to Intersection Magazine podcast. This week we're in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, the land of bongo flavor. And we're excited to host quite a number of episodes. We plan to do quite a number of interviews, probably about 12 individuals who we've identified as critical in playing a role in innovation and tech in Tanzania. And so today's guest is Elsie Eyakuze. She's a columnist for East Africa, a socialist in bent and thinking, as well as a sociologist in training. And so we want to have some conversations about her work and that she does in media, as well as her understanding of the general landscape in Tanzania, and how people think and how people do business. And then, of course, we'll be having some conversations also with our sponsors, Kotani Pay, about what they offer for in terms of the payment space. Kotani Pay is a fintech, and I'm interested in finding out how they can partner, for example, with NGOs in processing payments for groups of people that may be part of these NGOs. So we hope you guys enjoy this conversation. Thank you. So Elsie, tell us a little bit about yourself. I've been going through your LinkedIn profile as expected. So tell us a little bit about your education and then maybe go into some of your media work.
Okay, so thank you, Nicholas. With my education, where should I start? From like preschool or should we just secondary above?
Secondary and above, probably.
Okay, so for secondary education, I went to this boarding school in Eswatini called Waterford Kamhlaba, which turns 60 this year. Halala Kamhlaba. And I was there for 7 years.
Okay.
I did the IB program, so I graduated in 1998. I went in there in 1992.
Okay.
And from there, I got into college in the US. I went to Bryn Mawr College, which is a women's college, one of the Seven Sisters, and it's in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did my first degree there, and I graduated with a BA in sociology with a minor in Africana Studies, which is a combination of African American and African studies. Yep. And I'd gone in intending to do economics, failed my first class, realized that this was not for me. And yet somehow in there I still managed to become a member of the finance club for like a semester.
Cool.
It was strategic because I knew they funded our version of NGOs, which was the student club, from their profits. I came back to Tanzania and I worked with an NGO I volunteered for and during one of my summer holidays.
Okay.
And that went really well. And for a while, and I had a crisis because I was like, the development I wanted to do and I thought my career was about wasn't what I was experiencing, and this was in the education sector.
Okay.
So I had a crisis and I was like, I think I don't understand what development is and I do need to like study it. So I went for my master's.
Okay.
So I went to the Institute of Development Studies, IDS, Sussex.
Okay.
Because they spoke to me, none of the US programs did, but they seemed to know Africa, and I was feeling them, the vibe was right. So it's a 2-year course as well. I wanted depth.
Okay.
So written master's, supervisor, I wanted interaction, so I was there for 2 years, from I think 2004 to 2006.
Okay.
And I graduated with an MPhil in development studies. Fantastic. Had a really, really great education there. Came back again. Started again in the NGO sector, this time with Policy Forum.
Okay.
At the time it was a small organization still. And that's where I volunteered during the summer. And Gertrude Mugizi was there and she was very keen to employ me. Very happy to have me. I lasted 8 months. Because my brothers and a friend of theirs had started a company and they needed a media analyst. And my one brother with the MBA was like, I know you sociology people develop tools to study things which we can't quite grasp for the client that they just landed. So They offered me not only double my pay, but like in a different currency. Like, I know that hurts, doesn't it? And I sold out. So off I went, and I joined a startup called Serengeti Advisors, their media department. And that would have been, what, like 2007 maybe? So I was their media analyst for about 3-4 years. During which time I did a lot of media analysis. I watched way too much TV, read way too many newspapers, reignited my knowledge and love of Tanzania's politics. Love is a strong word, understanding. And I also went back to my one true love, which is writing, and started a newsletter. Yeah, I was hoping to turn into a newspaper. That didn't pan out.
Tell us about your time at the East African as a columnist, because I actually read your stuff. Man, this was years ago, and I developed a kind of liking for your style, because it just, when I read your stuff, it would always make me want to do a little bit more research and read up on certain words you'd used. So I just found your writing to be quite wholesome. So tell us a little bit more about your time at East African and how is that going?
Well, thank you very much. That was very kind of you to say. This is my 13th year in East African. So Charles Onyango Obo basically saw what I was writing, I think on my blog, and doing some media analysis and stuff. And he said, would you like to maybe write a piece for us? And I said, I couldn't possibly, sir. This is like East African, back in 2009 or 2009. I was like terrified. There's just no way. And he said, listen, try it. Like, if it's a wash, it's a wash. No harm, no foul. Just try one piece and we'll see. So I tried the one piece, but he's an editor and he knew what he was doing. So I tried the one piece and it was well received and I was on a high, and he let me ride that high and let it just subside. Before he approached me, he said, do you think maybe you could do this on a more regular basis? And I said, oh, I couldn't possibly, Charles. I couldn't. And he was like, I think you could. And I was like, oh, Charles, no. And he's like, yeah, and back and forth. And then I started, I think 2010 really was when it took off. And here we are today. Yeah.
Yes, you also mentioned your blog. I looked at it. And do you blog every day? Because it's
intense. Yeah. I was young.
I haven't come across someone who does it so intensely like you do.
I was young when I started that blog. You know, it was like 2001 or something, right? I don't even know, but I was young and I had a lot to say, and the world was just full of wonder. And I'm a writer, so I needed an outlet. And also, I didn't like the way that Tanzania was being portrayed online. So I've been living online since like the mid-90s, basically, when I went to the US for my first degree. Whoa, they had LAN cables, man. I had a computer and I had unlimited access to the internet. So while people say that it's dangerous for young people to be online, for me, it was a wonderland. Because not only were there libraries that were open 24 hours, there was the internet. So I was just like, that was heaven. So when I got back to Dar and I'm getting online and trying to like look at what are they saying about my country, well, how is it perceived? Because I knew from there, and I was like, surely not back home. The narrative couldn't possibly be that naive. It was terrible. Everything was like, would you like to book a safari? There's no people. It's just Maasai and lions, like the big five. You know, like this land was apparently just empty of people. And I was like, oh nope, that's not happening. Not on my watch. So I started writing in English because, sure, I could blog in Kiswahili, but how would the wider world know that we are here? So that's probably a lot of the verve behind at least the first 5 years. I think of that blog was just like, y'all need to know, and this was like some pre-Wakanda stuff, right? Like, Black Panther hadn't been made. We needed to Black Panther ourselves and show them. Yeah, so that was that energy. Yes.
This is a bit of a pivot, but in covering, for example, the ecosystem, the technology and innovation ecosystem in Uganda, for example, usually what we do is we split it up between educational institutions, founders or like techies. Then we have your venture capitalists, angel investors, people who want equity in companies, technology hubs, what they call entrepreneurship support organizations, whether those are the hubs themselves or whether they are the accelerators, incubators, all the different players of the ecosystem. But what I found interesting in Uganda, for example, was there's also a certain part that we don't actually think of as part of the ecosystem, and that's the writers. Because what normally happens is people have ideas or people have businesses that they're developing, but they don't quite know how to tell their own stories. So I'm really interested in capturing that information and helping people tell their stories, because that's pretty much that's half the story, half the journey you have to take when you've created something, and people just need to know that it exists before you can pretty much get funding, because that's what most of the people I interact with are looking for. So I'm interested in your angle as a columnist and a person who's skilled at telling stories and who understands human beings, I guess, their motivations and things of that nature. Now, tell us a little bit about the landscape. What are your views about, without getting without forcing you back into economics? Tell us a little bit about, what you see in Tanzania, the potential. Because my excitement in coming here was, I was thinking so much about, for example, nomadism, tech nomadism, the potential that this country has of just attracting people that just want a beautiful place with the fast internet connection, possibly a great investment environment that's friendly for investors, and that, a place where I can just kick back and work, make my money without, worrying about, being offline or any of those problems. So just kind of give us a rough idea what you see in Tanzania, the potential that you see with the entrepreneurs and those kinds of things.
Okay, I mean,
I know I've gone it's a long question.
It's a lot, yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I got to see us go from dial-up and internet cafes to like home Wi-Fi, 5G's coming in. And like on the other side of where we're at, there's the stretch between, I mean, frankly speaking, Ali Hassan Mwinyi all the way to sort of Mwenge is, I believe we call it the Tanzanite Valley. So that's where all the telecoms are. And like, there's a few tech hubs and so on and so forth. Just look it up. So there's a lot of potential, like a lot, I think. How we're exploiting it varies a lot. As a content creator, of course, I'm always interested in the content, okay? I happen to write, people are doing like TikToks and stuff are exploding, of course. That's a huge growth area right now. Writing is on the wane, but I'm one of those believers who's just like, it's just gonna change. I mean, radio didn't die, we've got podcasts now.
Yeah.
And we still have radio. So, and we've got Clubhouse, and it's just like, things don't go away. But there's not many people who do what I do, the writing part of content creation, so especially in English. And in Kiswahili as well, oddly enough. So I feel like we're not nearly close to like reaching that full stretch out. Just like occupying our space. There's still a lot to be explored, a lot of potential. And we're gonna be a little ornery about it, because you were using some words and I could feel myself reacting like, nomads, okay, what you want here, like, to be able to work here and just no internet interruptions and stuff. And I'm like, nah, we're all in it together. Like, you come here, the power switches off, and we're all in the streets and shaking, waving our fists at the government. Hey, how are you getting power without us having power? Fine, buy a generator. But you know what I mean? Like, we're all in this together. It really still has that at least I have that old school socialist spirit. We're in this together. So, of course, fantastic country. Dar es Salaam is one. I think there's a few people who have discovered Zanzibar as a destination for exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, and they've hooked themselves up and set up situations where the power doesn't cut out, and we've got great internet, and they're working there. And people coming from all over the world. They've done that, and COVID was part of the push for nomadic folks to just pick up and move there and work and create communities. So I love that. I believe in world citizenship. I say as an African who has to ask for visa for everywhere I go. Just want you to know it's super annoying. But yeah, I think it's wonderful. I think it's got its pros and cons like everything else. But yeah, we've got. We're a country. We're not Kenya. We're not Uganda. We're not. You got to know us. And like if you settle here, I usually tell people easily, like 2 years is when you're beginning, and 5 years is when you have a clue. And then take it from there. Make your decision then. You've established yourself maybe and figured out a few things for yourself. So, on the creator side, I think we're flourishing. Okay. So that's a strength that we have. Comedy especially, like just fantastic. Visual stuff, audio-visual, so little movies and things, like we're good at that. We're very good at that, telling little stories and stuff. Creative content, very, very good. A lot of political discussion, very political. So there's a lot of that. I think the blogs now mostly are political. I try to switch it up because I also bore myself. If I only do politics, I get bored. And I'm not like that. I think I'm a bit fluid. So I don't want to bore myself, because if I bore myself, I'm going to bore my reader. And that's not cool. So I think that's where we shine and we can do more. And I'm just really glad that there's just like more and more people coming up, younger people. Like I said, I'm 43, I'm ready to pass on the baton. And also graduate to like a different level where I can just do a little less, maybe earn a little more, and be home more. So I'm rambling because I'm trying to find the conclusion. What was the actual? What do you want me to speak to?
I think you've answered the question about the general investment landscape and the opportunity and some of the thinking behind citizens of Tanzania. You've also answered the question that I was curious about in terms of, you've answered the question, but also kind of given me a bit of a perspective in terms of how to think when we come, to be thinking in terms of the greater good of the country. Now.
And I do want to make a final point. This was very important. Language. You have to learn Kiswahili. You have to. This is our national language. Like, you're not gonna have a good life here. I don't think like a complete, fulfilled life here if you don't learn Kiswahili. It doesn't matter who you are. You can have all the billions in the world. You're missing a huge part of the entire situation if you don't learn Kiswahili. Now, I learned it later in life because circumstances. But there you go. It's easy to pick up, hard to get into real depth, to really grasp it and manage it. But it's a wonderful language, and I encourage people to learn it. It is fantastic, and it'll get you around East Africa real good.
It will. Incidentally, the president of Colombia has been taking, I think, Kenyan teachers to teach Swahili. To the vice president, she's an black African lady. Okay. So she's been taking Kenyan teachers to teach Swahili to Colombians.
The rivalry continues. Okay, that's wonderful.
One last thing. There's a writer, I don't know if you've heard of him, he's Angelo Izama. He was a media personality in Uganda, but a very good journalist. But he recently transitioned into, I suppose, someone saw his potential and they hired him to run the Uganda Investment Authority. So, those are some things, I think, some of the good things that are happening in terms of the process, at least for us as technology people. And I think he's from the interaction we had with him last week, because he was part of a fireside chat with some people from Saxony, Germany, and he just so quickly you could tell he has a grasp of our needs as entrepreneurs, and he's using the same zeal that he has for journalism and telling our stories. But from what I heard from him, he's not doing that alone. I mean, he's involved in several other projects. So he works for the Investment Authority, but he also, I think, has other tasks that he handles. So I kind of do appreciate when I see people transition from one field to another. But I'm kind of glad that we have a storyteller telling the stories of people in technology, because that's one of the ways I view journalists. So anyhow, thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us, and for sharing your knowledge about the landscape. Thank you also for some of the contacts that you've given us that we'll have to look up to get a little bit better grasp of what we're dealing with. Now, I hope we can have you back soon, maybe to track the progress of some of what we've talked about. So thank you, Elsie.
Thank you very much, Nicholas.
So Felix, tell us a little bit about what Kotani Pay does and who Kotani Pay is, and what role you guys play, for example, in the fintech space, and how NGOs, for example, can benefit from your products or services.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. So we are a venture-backed fintech, mostly focused on building the bridge between digital assets and local currencies in Africa. So we leverage blockchain technology in all its shapes, forms, flavors, to bring services that are hard to get for Africans who aren't banked. Specifically for NGOs, we have an SMS wallet where their users can create blockchain accounts from a feature phone, a push-button phone, and they can receive stablecoin payments directly to that wallet and then cash out to their local currencies. So we have partnered with several organizations, including Masico and CELO, to run universal basic income for refugees. Impact Market is, for example, a good partner that does this work extensively in Kenya and Ghana. We have leveraged blockchain for cash transfer payments to end users. And so we find that it comes with some benefits. The technology comes with some benefits for at least the unbanked individuals.
Oh, cool. Excellent. You did some work in Turkana?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that and what was involved.
Yeah, so one of our pilots was in Kakuma.
Okay.
And we were mostly focusing on refugees in Kakuma.
Okay.
As you might know, people in these situations usually are in absolute poverty, right?
Okay.
So we partnered with several universal basic income organizations, and were sending them cash transfer payments daily by the blockchain. So these payments were essentially coming from the US, and then they will cash out to mobile money. The interesting thing about this pilot was what the refugees did after that. So some of them started very small micro enterprises with those funds. Okay. So in about a month's time, we had businesses being built. 60% of the refugees were actually women, and so building businesses within the refugee camps was something that we saw as a positive thing. And as a matter of fact, the NGO took it further and started thinking about universal basic credit. So if I am doing something with my universal basic income and I've done something great with it, can that be taken as a credit score? So then I can be given something to further the business I created. So those are some of the interesting things that come out of the pilot.
Okay. Thank you very much, Felix.
Thank you.
I'm a bit curious. Can you help us kind of understand what benefits there are with this whole system of blockchains and cryptocurrency, and then the whole concept of stable coins for those that are new to these ideas?
Yeah. So we have a problem with cross-border payments today because it's very expensive. Okay. The global average is 8% fees, Africa's average in some countries is as high as 16% to do a $200 cross-border payment. It's UN's goal to get this down to 3% by 2030, but it's impossible to get it down to 3% with current technology, which involves several intermediaries, because every intermediary is taking a cut. And what we know about blockchain is that it's very good at cutting out intermediaries, and so you can do a direct transfer to an end user at below 3% fees. Now, the concept of stable coins is that you want to take a local currency and then tokenize it on a blockchain. So you have a digital representation of a local or fiat currency. So one of the biggest trends I think that you will notice is governments want to take their own currencies and develop their own digital currencies that are being called central bank digital currencies. And this basic concept came out of private stable coins like Tether USDT or Circle's USDC.
Okay. Thank you very much.